Okay, so I just wanted to hop on here real quick and explain the title of the video. You will never be a successful trader if you do this, and what I'm talking about is if you don't follow your rules. It sounds so simple, but it's so true. So let's say you have a rule of only taking 2 trades max a day, and you convince yourself, oh, I took 2 losses. This third setup looks so clean though, I'm gonna hop in it. You're breaking your rules. Let's say you're not supposed to trade 30 minutes before red folder news, but a setup looks super clean. You go, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it anyway. Worst case scenario, the trade works and you start to build these bad habits and you start taking these trades that you shouldn't, and it's a slippery slope after that. I did not follow my rules today and I got burnt because of it. So let me explain why here. We had, hopping on the charts, we had red folder news at 10 a.m. and going into the trading day here, I saw these relative equal highs and I knew that these were going to be the draw on liquidity. I knew I shouldn't have been trading before red folder news, but I'm a little bit slow sometimes, so I decided to hop in this trade here. This was the first trade I took, entered on this 2-minute close, was targeting these relative equal highs, and this was like 16 minutes before red folder news. So I was targeting these relative equal highs. I broke 2 rules on this trade. I got super, emotional, lost all my patience. I basically got stopped on this wick here. So I really should have been out of this trade on this candle close, as our rule is if the candle closes below the inverse fair value gap, we get out of the trade. But I held on a little bit longer than usual. And then as you can see, price came back and basically came to my break-even point after I exited the trade. So that made me even more angry. So I broke another rule and I took a trade literally 2-3 minutes later. And when you're emotional, it's so easy to convince yourself that a trade is nicer than it is. You're looking at it going, oh yeah, that's good. I'm gonna hop in that. All the criteria meets. But realistically, if I saw this with a clear mindset, I'd be looking at it going, it's okay, but I'm gonna wait. I just took a loss. We have red folder in 8 minutes. I mean, this was at 9:51. Red folder is in 9 minutes, and price is just always going to be so choppy before a big news event. But I convinced myself that this was a decent trade, as one does when they're a little emotional and pissed off. So I decided to hop in this trade when the 1 minute closed. Again, targeting these relative equal highs here. And at this point, Spen was online. He asked me if I'd taken any trades. And I said, yes, I had taken a big loss. So I took this trade as well. Again, targeting these equal highs, got stopped out there. And once Spen hopped online, it's so much easier to realize your mistakes when you need to explain them to someone else, because it's so easy to convince yourself if you're alone that you're not really doing anything wrong. But once you need to say it out loud to someone else, you sort of snap back into it. So if you guys are trading by yourself, I recommend trying to find a trading buddy or hop in a Discord, because it's going to really make your journey a lot smoother, because these people are going to help keep you accountable. When you need to explain your losses and explain to someone that you broke your rules, it's going to hurt a lot more than just keeping it under wraps if you're trading by yourself. So Spen hopped on. I had explained the situation and he sort of said, well, why would you trade before red folder news? And I said, yeah, man, you're right. I have no idea why. Blew up a little bit this morning and then snapped back into it. We were patient. We waited for red folder, and I knew that I wanted to catch a dub for the day. So I really wasn't trying to force any setups here. The trailing drawdown on the account was at about $900, $1,000. So I was playing with fire, to be honest with you. So I was waiting for a very A+ setup, which we did get. To me, the draw was still going to be these relative equal highs up here. And we said to ourselves that we would not target those highs until we took out yesterday's swing low here. So as you can see, price was dilly-dallying. 10 o'clock took a shit here. 10 o'clock news, we really dumped. And this trade to me looked decent. This was a low targeting the swing low from yesterday as we got kind of close to it. So I said, okay, this is probably going to be the draw. We inverse this gap. I did not take it because it wasn't A plus enough for me as we had relative equal highs right here. So I said, okay, Spen, we're looking for longs. We're not going to take a long until yesterday's low gets taken because that swing low is just super obvious. Especially looking at it at the 15, like that low just pops out at you. So we waited till that low got swept it, barely displaced under it, which is a good sign. And then we waited for this 1 minute gap to get inversed. This gap was very obvious. You can see it from a mile away. It is the highest time frame gap. It's not on the 2, it's not on the 3. So we waited for it to get inversed on the 1. And what made this trade even better is the fact that we had relative equal highs up here and relative equal highs up here. As you guys know, those are a great target. So we hopped in as soon as this 1 minute candle closed above. Stop was really, we were just playing it by ear, see how price printed. And we targeted initially these equal highs as the first target and the break-even point. And these equal highs were the final take profit. And looking at the higher time frame, a reason we didn't want to hold this too long is because we knew we were trading into a bearish 15-minute gap and we did not want to try to fade it. Although we knew these equal highs were probably going to be the draw, we just simply didn't want to risk price entering this 15-minute gap and then reversing on us. As you can see, these equal highs did hit, which is a bit bummy to see, but it's, it's always so much more obvious in hindsight. It's easy to beat yourself up over not holding once price is already printed. But again, we're not going to try to fade that bearish 15-minute gap. So we hopped in the trade here as soon as we inversed this 1 minute candle close. And we held this trade for about 25, 26 points. And this just goes to show you that patience is so important. If I follow my rules and just waited for red folder news, it would have been a one and done type of day. So that's a bit of a wake up call for me, but it is what it is, man. We're going to continue to chip away at this challenge. I still feel pretty good about it. And I was on a bit of a hot streak, so sometimes you just got to get burnt to get snapped back into reality here. And I feel like I kind of needed that. But this was the one trade we took today. Spen was more disciplined. This was the only trade that he took. So I think he's up almost 4% on his challenge. I'm up around 2% on mine. So it took a bit of a hit today, but that's okay. And boom. So we got out right there. And again, as you can see, price just steadily chugging towards these equal highs and just swept them. So yeah, that was today. A bit of a bummy day, but it's nice to catch a winning trade. Helps bring the confidence back up a little bit. That was a very clean trade. And again, that's the only trade I should have taken, but it's all right. What can you do? Obviously easy to say in hindsight. But yeah, excited to chip away at the challenge, and we'll see what the next of this week brings for us. Okay, so I just wanted to end this video off on one last note and say that you need to be careful how these losses do affect you, just because sometimes these losses can really get in your head. Sometimes they can really weigh on you. And because of that, they can end up dictating how you spend the rest of your day. They can end up dictating your time with others. Like I know, for example, back in the day when I had a big red day, I would end up taking my anger out on the people around me. For example, my brothers or my girlfriend at the time. I would end up taking my anger out on myself. And at the end of the day, it's just not fair to yourself. It's not fair to the people around you. And it's just not that deep, man. It's one loss. It's okay. You always have tomorrow. You always have next week. It's going to be a long journey, so you may as well try to enjoy this journey. And what I found something that I found really helped me with that is trying to forget about the end goal while you're trading day to day. Back then, I would constantly have in the back of my mind my end goal, whether it was leave my job at the bar or move to Europe or make 10K a month, whatever it was. I was constantly thinking about that in the back of my mind while I was trading, and it was just serving me no good. Yes, I do still have those goals in mind, but I'm just not thinking about them while I'm on the charts. Instead, I'm taking it day by day. I'm focusing on what's in front of me and I'm living in the present. And I found that that has helped me tremendously with my trading journey. It has helped me shrug off the losses. I'm way more stoic, way more calm when I take a loss. And I realized that it's water under the bridge, man. It's water under the bridge, and losses are part of the process. And when you focus on trading day by day rather than focusing on those end goals, you realize that the losses are not that deep and it is all part of the journey. And that is it, man. That is it. That's how I wanted to wrap up the video. And I hope that everyone is doing all right. I hope that you guys take some of this advice and I hope that it helps with your losses. And yeah, man, that's basically it.